Welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today we would like to talk about Hooke's law and elasticity. Now, there's a very interesting thing when we talk about materials elasticity. When you have a wood and you have a rubber band, you can easily tell the difference between their elasticity. Let's say this is a wood, for instance, and this is a rubber band. Sorry, not drawn to scale. So you can easily tell that when you hold a wood, you can't stretch the wood past a certain length. In fact, you can't stretch it at all. So the length or the length at which you can't stretch it for it to return back to its initial shape is what we call its elastic limit. So a wood and a rubber band have different elasticity. The rubber band is more elastic compared to a wood. So it is a very intuitive concept when we talk about elasticity. But we also have to discuss about Hooke's law. So what does Hooke's law say? Hooke's law simply says that when you have a material, the force being applied to that material is directly proportional to the extension on that material, provided the material does not exceed its elastic limit. Like I stated earlier on, the elastic limit is just the limit at which it would reach where it no longer returns back to its initial shape. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about elastic limits. So mathematically, Hooke's law is written as F is directly, let me write it mathematically as a variation first. F is directly proportional to E. That means the force is directly proportional to the extension. So taking out the variation sign, we have F is equal to KE, where K is the constant of proportionality. Since we have this to be the case, and we know that F is the force applied on that material and E is the extension of the material. Now, the extension of the material can also be written in a unique way. The extension of the material can be written as the new length, we can call that L2, subtracted or minus the old length, we can call that L1. So when you subtract the old length from the new length, what you get is the extension. Writing that, we can also imply that F is equal to KE, therefore K is equal to F over E, and we can write it using this format, that K is equal to F1 over, you can write it as L2 minus L1, and you can see F2 is, you can see L3 minus L2. So this is a way of writing it proportionally to show in case you want to compare different lengths. This is how you express them. In this video, I would like to talk about stress and strain with some other attached concepts. So what is stress? I'm sure you all are already familiar with the word stress. It's an everyday word. When you say I'm stressed, you can see it simply means I'm tired. But in the world of physics, stress simply implies or is the ratio of force per unit area. So stress is the force per unit area of a substance. So stress is equal to force, which has a unit of Newton, per unit area, which has a unit of meter square. So the unit of stress then becomes Newton per meter square. Stress is also synonymous with pressure. When you say pressure, it's the same formula. But in elasticity, we like to call it stress. We also have something called strain when we talk about elastic material. So strain is simply the ratio of the extension to the length or the original length of the material. So when you take the ratio of the extension of the material to the original length of the material, what you just calculated or what you just found is called the strain of that material. So we have something unique, or we have a very important formula in physics called Young's modulus. Young's modulus is oftentimes is denoted using this Greek alphabet. It is stress to strain. So when you take ratio of stress to strain, what you just found is something we call the Young's modulus of that material. I would also like to talk about brittle and ductile material. So when we say a material is brittle, we just simply mean that that material easily breaks before it reaches its elastic limit. An example of a brittle material would be glass. Before glass can reach its elastic limit, it will break. So it's an example of a brittle material. Another type of material, we call it a ductile material. A ductile material is a material that can still or withstand force after passing its elastic limit. Such materials can be easily drawn into wires. So we have the brittle material, easily breaks, and the ductile material, easily drawn into wires. Drawn into wires. In the next video, I would like to talk about the elasticity graph. Thank you. So, looking at this graph, what can you tell? This is the force against the extension. Now, you can see that as the force increases, the extension gradually increases as well. So this is a directly proportional relationship. As the force increases, you can see the graph, the slope goes up, it increases. But it reaches a particular point, if you can see this point here. So when it reaches this particular point, this point here, E, is called the elastic limit of that material. Now, when it reaches the elastic limit, Hooke's law no longer holds true. That means F is no longer equal to KE when it reaches its elastic limit. Now, when that force continues to be applied to that material, if you keep applying the force to the material, it no longer shows, or it no longer goes in a straight line. The line is no longer linear. You can see it's now a curve. So when it bends, you can see the reason why this bends in this shape or in this manner is because it does not obey Hooke's law anymore. So when you keep applying that force, you reach another point called the yield point. Now, that yield point is a particular point where it has passed its elastic limit and it has become plastic. So it no longer returns back to its initial shape again. When you remove the applied force, it no longer returns back to its initial shape. If you keep applying a force, you notice this graph, it goes up now in a curved manner. It is no longer linear. It goes up, you reach a point, M. Now that point is called the point of maximum stress. That is the point where the material has absorbed enough stress that it is about to break, but it has not broken yet. So the material is about to break. So that particular point is a point of maximum stress. Now, the last point is called the breaking point. You can see from here. The last point is called the breaking point. Now, that is the point where the material breaks. Now, the reason why this graph is so important in elasticity is because it shows where Hooke's law stops and the material itself stops obeying Hooke's law and reaches its elastic limit, which is yield point, which is the maximum stress, and then the material breaks. So this graph shows the several stages of a material's elasticity until it breaks. So this is the elasticity graph. Welcome back to another video on elasticity. Here I have a Jamb question that says an additional load to an elastic wire when the elastic limit is already reached will make the wire to A, break, B, be strained permanently, C, recoil, and D, to vibrate. So if you can recall from my previous video, I drew a graph called the elasticity graph. And in that graph, I showed the different stages of an elastic material when a force is being applied to the material. And in this particular question, the load has already reached, or the wire has already reached its elastic limit when the force was being applied to it. If it has reached that elastic limit, we'll make the wire to will the wire break when it has reached the elastic limit? If you can remember from the graph, what is the first stage after it stops obeying Hooke's law? The first stage is it reaches its elastic limit, and the second stage is it reaches its yield point where it becomes plastic. So it does not break. The breaking is the last stage. It also has to reach its maximum stress stage before it reaches its breaking point. So the breaking point is the last stage. So we cancel this out. It's not the answer. Recoil is not even part of the option at all if you are familiar with elasticity. D, vibrate, definitely not part of the. You can tell. Why would it vibrate when we are talking about elasticity? But B says be strained permanently. Now, the idea of elastic limit is that when it has reached its elastic limit, it cannot return back. When it has reached its yield point, it cannot return back to its original shape when the force is being removed. So that material would become strained permanently. So this is our answer to this question, B. Here I have a question that says, a force of 100 Newton stretches an elastic string to a total length of 20 centimeter. If an additional force of 100 Newton stretches the string 5 centimeter further, find the natural length of the string. By the natural length, we simply mean the original length of that string. If you can recall from Hooke's law, F is equal to KE. But I told you that the extension can also be written in terms of the final length minus the initial length. So F is equal to K L2 minus L1. Or I can say LF minus Li. F meaning final, I meaning initial. So making K the subject of formula, I can say F1 or F over FLF minus Li. So I can say, since I'm looking for the change in the force, I can say F2 or F meaning final force and Fi meaning initial force. So writing it this way, I can solve this question since we are discussing about two forces in play here and two length. So the first force we have is 100 Newton. So the 100 Newton force subtracted by the initial force acting on that material. Now, what's the initial force acting on the material? There was no initial force acting on the material. So the initial force is 0. Over, now, the final length of that material. When the material was stretched by 100 Newton force, it was stretched to a final length of what? Of 20 centimeter. What's the initial length of that material? Now we do not know the initial length of that material, so we call it L. The initial length of that material is the natural length we are being asked to find here. So it's equal to, what else? So we have another force acting, another 100 Newton force acting on that material. But now an additional force of 100 Newton would simply imply a total force of 200 Newton acting on that material. Because initially we had a 100 Newton force acting on the material, and we have another 100 Newton force acting on the material. So our new force would be 200 Newton subtracted by, now, the previous force. What's the previous force? Previous force is 100 Newton. Now, over, what's the final length in this case? The final length, it was stretched to a length of 5 centimeter, and before it was 20 centimeters. So the total length now would be 25 centimeter, and the initial length would be 20 centimeter. Now we can simply make L the subject of formula here and simplify our calculations. So we have 100 over 20 minus L. Here we have 100 Here we have 5. I can cross multiply. Cross multiplying, I would have 100 multiplying 20 minus L. I have 100 multiplying 5. Now, dividing both sides by 100, 100 cancel out 100 here. So I will be left with 20 minus L is equal to 5. Making L the subject of formula, I would have 20 minus 5 is equal to L. So L becomes what? Which is 15 centimeter. So this is the original or the natural length of that material. Thank you.